I feel a little awkward right now.
3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to another video. I don't know why I feel awkward. I feel like maybe I don't have the comfort of my book corner behind me, but I just feel a little uncomfortable. So bear with me as I get more comfortable throughout this video. So this month I'm turning 25, and that means I am a quarter of a way to a century. I feel like a lot of the videos that I see on YouTube are, here are 5 things that I learned at 25. But for me, as a 25-year-old, I know that I don't know much, and anything that I think that I know now can change in the future. Making a video that said 5 things I learned at 25 may not be true when I'm 35 or 45 or even next year. This video is going to be the 5 things that I'm still learning, 5 things that I'm still trying to work on at 25. Also, as a disclaimer, this is not cohesive of everything that I'm learning and working on. This is just like the 5 things that I think are really what I'm trying to focus on and put my attention toward. Getting right into it, the first one is the case for the good enough job. The good enough job, to me, is a job that's like exactly what it sounds like. It's good enough. Like, it's not going to be my dream job. Personally, I just don't think that exists, at least for me. No matter what job I have, I feel like there'll always be something else that I want to do. A dream job, as at this point, not something that is incredibly important to me right now, because I feel like right now my priorities lie in spending time experiencing life with my family, with my friends, doing things, getting out of that house, and not necessarily what I do from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So the case for the good enough job is a job that allows me to live the life that I want and have the flexibility to do the things that I want without it becoming my whole personality. I feel like, especially in America, there's parts of society that really put an emphasis on what you do and making that a part of who you are. And for me, I don't really want to be one of those people that have my job as a core personality. If I lose my job, I feel like I'll lose a part of myself. So the case for the good enough job to me means having a job that maybe I don't love it. I don't want to hate it, because liking what you do is also important. It's not like the job that I've wanted to do, but it's good enough. I can do what I want to do and not have it weigh down on me and impact me on a day-to-day basis. The thing that I'm still learning about the good enough job is not letting society's views impact me. In the sense of, I feel like with a good enough job, it's not going to be like you're making the most money, you're not going to be the top of a company, but society, especially in the corporate life, it's like you got to move up, you got to make more, you got to do this, you have to do that to be the top. But for me, it's like, I don't want that. I don't want to be the CEO of my company, because I just think that's too much responsibility. I don't think that'll provide me the flexibility that I want in my life. My goal, honestly, I told my manager this too, so if she's watching this, hello, I don't know how you find my channel, but here we are. I told my manager this, like, I just want to get to the next level and just sit there for however long I can. At that point, I still have a good work-life balance, because I'm not high up enough where if I mess up, people will yell at me, I'll get fired, that kind of thing. I'm high enough where I have autonomy over what I want to do and I make a decent amount of money. I'm just still existing, but it's not like my decisions will make or break a company. The good enough job mindset comes with a level of complacency. To me, I don't want to view it as like, oh, I'm becoming complacent with my life. I think that I am still trying to learn to view it as I am prioritizing other things other than my job. Because as long as I can afford to live the life that I want to live, it doesn't really matter to me what I do. As long as it doesn't impact my mental health in a negative way, it's like I could really do anything, but just not letting society's views on hustle culture, not letting that impact how I view myself, and not letting that impact how I view my job. Because especially being surrounded by people who are very motivated in their professional life, it makes me feel like, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should be pushing myself to do X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, like, I don't want to look back at my life and be like, yes, I am the CEO of a company, but I don't know what my future children like to do with their day. The second one, I feel like I will be continuing to learn how to do this until the day I die. I am still learning how to be nicer to myself in the sense of literally every way, because like I said, even with professionalism and my corporate life, I don't think that I'm enough. But where I'm at, logically, I know it's enough, but like internally, I don't feel like that's enough. I feel like a lot of people are like this, where they are their own harshest critic, because you are who you spend the most time with. It's only natural, really, to start criticizing the person that you see the most, you know, the person you spend the most time with. I am still learning how to treat myself with the kindness I try to treat others with, and in a way like that'll bleed in to treating others better, because if I'm happy with who I am and I like myself, then I will have that same kindness to others. Like, I was listening to this podcast and it was saying, you feel like people are judging you because you are judging other people. You have that mindset of like, I don't really care what other people are doing, so other people don't care what I'm doing. Like, this year I have been in like a worse mental state than I was prior, but like when I was in a better mental place, I had that mindset of like, I don't actually care what other people do. At that point I was like not really judging people, and I didn't feel self-conscious much at all. For example, like when I'm running, before when I was running, I was just like minding my own business. Like if I saw someone else running faster than me, I'd be like, oh, good for them. Whereas like now it's more of like, how come they're running faster than me, in a sense, or like there's a sense of competition there, regardless of if they're running faster than me or if I'm running faster than them. It's like, why am I comparing myself to others? Like, judging others isn't beneficial to you or your mental health. Just focusing on myself and being nicer to myself, of like, it doesn't matter what other people are doing, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're having a good time, that's all that really matters. And also in the respect of being nicer to myself, if I don't want to do something, having the space to not do anything and be okay with it and not thinking that I'm being lazy or whatever it is something that I want to work on. Like, I'm still learning how to be gentler with myself of, okay, maybe you do need a break. You can't just be running at 100 miles per hour all the time. I feel like, especially with my personality, it's very much I always want to be productive. I always want to be doing something. I always want to be growing, learning, whatever. Making peace with the fact that maybe sometimes the best thing for me is to not do anything, because I have been doing a lot, and doing nothing will be more beneficial to me than doing something. But not seeing that break as being lazy or complacent, being nicer to myself and being okay with what I'm doing. If I make a mistake, if I make the wrong decision, knowing I will be able to get myself out and I'll make the most of whatever I can, and having a lot of trust in myself. Along that same vein, I am still learning, especially recently, I've been working on not being lazy, but not always having to be productive. I want to see my breaks as I'm recharging, not necessarily, oh, I'm being lazy. If I want to watch a movie or a TV series, I want to be able to see that as, oh, I'm just recharging, relaxing, and unwinding in the way that I want to, and not seeing that as, oh, you're being lazy. You could be doing something right now. You could be learning, you could be filming a video, editing, you could be literally doing anything under the sun, but not seeing that as lazy. Like I mentioned, I'm still trying to work on not having that need to always be productive, not seeing my breaks or my non-productive times as a sense of laziness. And on the same vein, I know that I'm lazy. Like, literally just this morning, I was like, I don't want to wake up, I don't want to work out, I don't want to do anything, I'm just gonna stay in bed. And I want to have that regimen where I do have a morning routine, I do what I want to do in the morning, and I don't just get up and go to work. I want to have that where I take breaks when I need it, but I'm also doing what's good for me. I know that me not getting up in the morning is not because I'm taking a break, like I'm resting. I'm not truly resting. I'm just staying in bed on my phone, scrolling through Instagram, whatever it is. I feel like that is a sense of laziness. I'm procrastinating getting up and working out and all of that stuff, to the point where it's just like, oh, it's too late for me to work out, I have to go to work. I feel like there's a duality there of not wanting to be lazy, but also not always having to be productive, that I'm still trying to find the balance of. I know at different parts of my life, it's going to mean different things. It's going to look different. So the fourth thing is, I am still learning that I am in no rush. This is something the cousin and I started joking around saying last year. The more that I actually conceptualize and internalize it, the more I'm like, actually, that's so true. I am in no rush. Because I feel like, especially in your 20s, you're told you should be figuring out what you want to do with your life. You should have that dream job. You should have that dream house. You should have that dream relationship. You should do this. You should do that. And there's so much pressure from society to know who you are, to figure out what you want to do, to get there. Because in your 30s, everyone expects you to have everything figured out. I'm in no rush to figure all of that out. I'm single. I live at home with my parents. I don't have a dream job. I don't even know what my dream job would look like, and I am in no rush to figure that out. I'm no rush to get there. Right now, a lot of what goes on in my head is like, I want to buy a house. I should be able to afford that financially by now, because a lot of my friends are living on their own, buying a house, moving in with their significant others, and I'm just like at home with my parents, alone, still trying to learn and teach myself. One, don't compare yourself to others who are in a different part of journey in their life. If I think about it, like, I really am in no rush to move out. Like, I'm fortunate enough to have parents who support me. I'm fortunate enough to be financially stable with my job. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's kind of nice to live at home and not have to think about dinner every day, because like if I have a long day at work, I just come home and my mom has dinner for me. Where if I do move out, it's like I have to cook for myself and become a fully functioning human being, and that's not the vibe I want to hit right now. But also it's just like learning, accepting there isn't any real rush for me to move out. There isn't any real rush for me to find my own house and live by myself. I'm really trying to learn everyone has different paces in life, and just because people my age and my friends are getting married and I don't have even a semblance of a relationship, it's okay. I am in no rush to find any of that. Finding a balance of like, you don't always have to be doing something. We are in no rush to do anything, to get anywhere, and learning it's okay to take things slow and stop and smell the roses. I'm still trying to work on. The last and final thing that I'm still learning is how I want to operate as a human being. And like, okay, yes, obviously, that makes sense. But in the sense of like, how do I want to operate? What do I need to operate in the way that I want to? Is it 8 hours of sleep a day? Can I operate on less than that? How and who do I want to be? Because at 25, I know nothing about who I want to be in the future. And I know nothing about how I want to operate. What does that look like? What does that feel like in a day-to-day fashion? How I want to operate as like getting the monotony of life tasks out of the way, like laundry, chores, whatever. Learning how I want to show up in this world. Learning about myself. My sense of who I am is changing every day. Learning how I want to show up and operate in this world is changing every day. Like if you asked me in college how I want to operate, you're going to get a very different answer of who I am now. Like in college, I probably would have given you like, I want to be a leader in consulting. My perspective in college was very much surrounded in my job and making that a part of who I am. But now I'm not like that. Like my job is a part of me. Yes, that is something I do every day, but it's not the most interesting part about me, and it's not something I want to talk about all the time. Learning how to find a balance between the different parts of me and how makes me whole. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. At 25, if you know who you are as a human being, I'm so happy for you. Could not be me. At 25, if you know exactly how you want to operate in this world and what your purpose in this world is, how did you get there? Because genuinely, I'm curious how you formed all of that, because I have no clue. If I were to answer that right now, my answer would be different next year. My answer would be different maybe tomorrow. I have a couple values to myself that will be constant throughout my life, but in the sense of what that looks like internally and externally, I don't know how that manifests itself in my day-to-day life. Could be different, especially with like different priorities going on, whatever that may be. Anyway, to summarize the 5 things that I'm still learning: 1, the case for the good enough job and not letting society's views on what my career should look like impact me. 2, to be nicer to myself and stop judging others so I can stop judging myself. 3 is to stop being lazy but not always having to be productive. 4, that I am in no rush. And 5, how I want to operate and show up in this world. I have to get to work. So that was the video. It was very rambly and I will have a great time editing this. But I hope you enjoyed it. Honestly, a video probably for myself to look back in the future of like, or 2025, like what are the things that you said you were working on? Am I still working on those? It'll be a good checkpoint for me. I hope you liked this video, maybe. I hope this video was somewhat entertaining. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to, and you haven't already, feel free to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Man, I gotta get to work. I don't want to go in early today. Like I said, I'm being kind of lazy. You can tell by this wrinkly shirt. I don't even know how to iron.